tonight. And let's look at the starting fives for the two teams. The Esurance starting lineups. New guard alongside Deontay Burton. They lost a very talented senior, Nevada did. Michael Perez, a transfer, comes in to replace him this year. But there's the difference for Cal, Don, with Ricky Krecklow and freshman Jordan Matthews.
Tyrone Wallace and Jabari Bird sent to the bench, and it's not about offense. Even though Matthews had a good game at Santa Barbara with 22 points, it's about consistent defensive effort. And I think Coach Mike Montgomery sending a message here that nobody's job is safe. You got to bring it every night on the defensive end.
David Carter, 5th season as the Nevada coach. WAC regular season champs 2 years ago. Had a rough year in their first season in the Mountain West.
Rude awakening first year in the Mountain West, but I think long-term better for the program to be in the Mountain West Conference.
No doubt. Interesting, David Carter has roots at Nevada that go back to Trent Johnson, who, of course, was a longtime assistant to Mike Montgomery. So you see the series history. So the Cal side was telling us actually they saw some similarities in the way Nevada plays.
Run a lot of the same stuff that Cal does, so easy to prepare for.
Trent Johnson's first major head coaching job was at Nevada in the early 2000s.
Go right into Cobbs, try and pick up a foul on Burton early. Good move by Cal. Good turnaround by Justin Cobbs.
Ronnie Stevens has taken up a nice gap. Nevada's lost some big men due to injury. And hitting Jerry Evans, a senior, 13 a game.
Good individual offense that time by Evans Jr. And what I really like, Ted, is that Cobbs and Burton have both accepted the challenge. They're going to guard each other. A lot of times they hide them. They don't play each other straight up. They are straight up right now.
Jordan Matthews, best scoring night in his first year at Cal at Santa Barbara Friday. Helps him get the start as Kravish, as we talked about earlier tonight, hits the facing jump.
Doesn't it seem like every time he squares up, he makes it? That 15 to 17 footer against Irvine last week, he made 4 or 5 of them against that zone right at the foul line.
56% in the early season for Kravish. But this is Stevens and Ollie Fall, a 6'9" senior big man, didn't play the last game for Nevada at UC Davis. And Stevens, a junior college arrival, filled that gap and did well.
Well, if Nevada's going to win this game, it can't just be Burton getting his 30 and nobody else. They need other guys to come along with him.
Krecklow, first shot. Too strong. Burton back. Deontay Burton. Oh, and that miss caromed off the rim one last time. Cal mistimed the rebound, and Stevens picked it up.
Yeah, and Cal hangs their hat on their defensive board. They typically out-rebound people. You don't see that very often where the ball just falls to the opposition for an easy layup.
Foul here on Cal. Well, you're right. Mike Montgomery's teams, this has always been rebound.
Well, and Stevens, deep post up. Kravish didn't do his work early enough there, and then off the Burton miss, Stevens, I mean, you never see that where a guy just walks in there and catches it and lays it up off the offensive board.
So the foul shooter, Krecklow.
Well, sorry, Ted. Getting back to that point you made earlier about, Nevada running similar stuff to Cal and talking to the coaches after the Santa Barbara loss Friday. Not so much about preparing for Nevada. It was about themselves the last couple days and getting back their defensive intensity. Really opened up the competition in practice. Let's see if it translates to the game tonight.
California switching on the screens, and Perez hits the three.
Looks like we're in for an offensive treat tonight if it stays this way.
Junior from Tucson, Michael Perez hits that three. He's a 34% shooter from the line.
Does every team in America have a key contributor that's a transfer?
Yes.
At least
I think it's plural.
right?
Yeah, it's plural. There's a nice muscle in. Now Richard Solomon He's averaging a double-double, 11 and 11.
Saw him a lot more on the perimeter last year. Hardly seeing him on the perimeter at all this year. Where you see him on the block going to work. Nice play.
Also seeing him without the goggles.
Yeah. We were told last week that he was going to have to wear them the rest of the year.
Oh, nice defensive flash by Solomon. And he steals.
Cobb's got to shoot that. Teams are going to load the paint if he doesn't take the first available.
Krecklow dumped it down. It's kind of a little bit of a wild sequence there. Solomon couldn't put it home.
Bet both teams like the pace right now. Yeah. Burton gets his first hoop. The left hand. Cal not real sharp defensively, and in talking to the coaches, what I just said about the defensive intensity and the commitment on that end, not a good start for the Cal defense.
Nice feed inside. Krecklow unable to finish. That's a point-blank miss. Now Burton back. Nice left. Burton has gone to his left well in his first 4 minutes.
Uses that dribble to shift the defender and then get back to his left hand.
And a foul here on Matthews' flight to the basket.
Watch him kind of in and out this dribble. He in and outs with the left hand. We missed it there, but he gets to the rim and does it again and doesn't make the play the second time. But that's his game. He's not really a huge three-point shooter, although he's shooting about 5 a game. He wants to get into the paint and make plays. And for a guy his size, he's really good at it. You know, not real big. Got long arms, though, and obviously good with the dribble.
Solomon and Krecklow out. Cameron Rooks, you saw, entering for Cal. And
this isn't the first game we've come to, Ted, where a coach is in the midst of trying to get his team to have a consistent defensive effort. Seems like everywhere we go, coaches are talking about consistent defensive effort.
So Jabari Bird is in the game, Tyrone Wallace in the game, and off the bench, or excuse me, that's not off the bench, that's Cole Huff, a starter who does.
Sometimes to win a game can really give you a jolt.
It was just a good basketball game to watch. Colorado belonged on that floor. The atmosphere in Boulder was great. And again, credit Tad Boyle. Tad Boyle's going out playing some non-conference games of note, and that helps everybody else in the conference.
Absolutely. In that building, I would say neck and neck with McHale right now is the two best places in the league to play. Two hardest places, I should say.
Good call, Don. All right, Jerry Evans completes a 4-point play. Nevada has made 7 of its first 9 shots, hence the 7-point lead.
Got to get that ball moving side to side if you're Cal. Don't let it stick.
There's a crash on the boards by Cal. Rebound foul will be on Nevada.
Well, there you see the conference win percentage. You know what else the Pac-12 is their 3rd in conference RPI as well. So a good start for the conference. We're always talking about how many teams in March are getting into the tournament. November was pretty good for this Pac-12 conference.
Well, there are certain wins, though, that are going to elevate. And we've had 2 so far, really. Arizona beating Duke and Colorado beating Kansas. And
some opportunities on the horizon. Arizona goes to Michigan this weekend. UCLA's at Duke next week.
And I should mention, give Oregon credit. Because Dane Allman's played a couple of tough non-conference, and he went to Ole Miss and won a game there.
Yeah, that's a scary game. And they survived the Marshall Henderson barrage to get an overtime victory down there.
A foul here was called on Stivrins of Nevada, their 3rd team foul, and that Dave Hall, our lead official tonight, was addressing a shot clock question. One thing Nevada will not afford tonight is big man foul trouble. And there's Kravish alone for the flush.
When you have Solomon and Kravish in there, It's hard to keep them both off the glass, especially when you're in a zone. Kravish wide open for that tip dunk.
Nevada, good guard team, good swingman team, a little thin up front.
Yeah.
And now they're starting 5. Ronnie Stevens is sitting with 2 fouls.
Part of the reason they're probably in a zone. Don't want to have to match up individually with Solomon and Kravish.
Dribbling by Coleman, and eventually Burton hits a rainbow. Nevada right now can't miss.
We're only 6 minutes in, but it's starting to shape up like one of those nights for Nevada. Doesn't it seem like that? I mean, that was a tough shot at the end of the clock, and he nails it.
8 of 10 shooting so far, and the last 2 have been real tough ones. Nice follow, and there's Jordan Matthews and 1.
Well, let's take a look at Burton's tough 3 at the end of the clock. It's going down. Doesn't have time to do anything but raise up. Knocks it down with 3 on the shot clock. And Cal starting to impose their will on the offensive board. That's what I like about Jordan Matthews. Kind of came in as the floor spacing jump shooter, but has found different ways to score. See one way he does it there with the and 1 putback.
So 4 early points for Jordan Matthews. He's coming off 22 at Santa Barbara last Friday. Now we get a tight call hand check on Tyrone Wallace.
It's a foul, and teams have been doing a pretty good job of keeping their hands off. Officials have been doing a pretty good job of being consistent with that. But you got to know now, and Tyrone Wallace knows, you put your hand on a dribbler, it's a foul.
10th game of the year for both teams. You're right. Cal 6-3, Nevada 4-5. Nice drive, Marquise Coleman.
Like the aggressiveness in Nevada here early, not just settling for jumpers, trying to get into the lane, and they are having a tremendous amount of success early in this game getting into the paint.
Nice pass out from the elbow. Kravish hitting Wallace.
You always want to get the ball to the middle in the zone as Nevada turns it over. Kravish doesn't even turn and look, just looks opposite to Wallace for the 3.
DJ Fenner, freshman from Seattle. Washington State Player of the Year last year, and in the game now for Nevada. Cardi, you see him up top there really working on Chris Rastatter.
Tough pass there.
Boy, Burton, he got a step going, and there's Huff for the putback. But Burton's sized that up beautifully.
Oh, he did. And what happens when you have a player like Burton is everybody's watching him. 2 guys went to contest. That leaves the weak side open. Nevada gets a putback. He's got good blow by.
Well, that's
Deontay Burton. Good burst.
We're coming to a break here, so we'll get into it a little bit later. But a player like Burton, there's a nice baseline for you.
About 3.
Playbook Comet Studio was in hot today.
Yeah.
The plane was on fire with Ernie Kent. You'll have Playbook tonight.
Just like getting on a bike today with the Yammer and Coach Kent. Back to our old form from last year.
So you and Kent in the same studio. How many words did Yammer get in?
Not many.
Chris Mullen. And that is a bizarre title right there. Sacramento Kings.
There's a lot of guys I run into, Ted, former players, guys who used to play and the like. And I'd probably take most of them on in a game of horse or a 3-point shooting game. Not him.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
He's a guy I'd duck.
Yeah, that's a compliment. On the connection, Chris Mullen hired Mike Montgomery as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors some few years back.
Cal in the zone for the first time.
And Jordan Matthews, that time he used his body, going with the left, taking it in, draws the foul from Fenner.
Would have liked to have seen Jordan Matthews drop that back to Jabari Bird. It could have ignited this crowd. Bird's athleticism gets the foul nonetheless.
Well, right now, Cal offsetting very good shooting by Nevada from the floor. Cal is doing it by getting to the foul line.
Well, that's the problem. Nevada shooting 71% at the last time out and only had a 2-point lead. So you wouldn't expect Nevada to shoot 71 for the game. So they need to get some stops, keep Cal off the offensive board.
6 team fouls on Nevada, 2 on Cal.
See if Cal can keep people in front. Wallace on Burton now. Got a little more length to try and bother him.
Oh, that tipped. That was tipped by Bird and then glanced off of Nevada's Perez.
Well, here's the thing. Mike Montgomery changes the starting lineup, and I sense Jabari Bird a little more engaged on the defensive end. Message received.
Bad screen there. After handing off the ball, bad screen set by Krecklow.
Yeah, when you hand it off, you can't keep going. And he kind of delivered it after he handed it off.
Dribble handoffs for Nevada. Burton playing off the ball. Tyrone Wallace defending Burton.
How much does Nevada use Burton as a decoy to space the floor? He was really spread out that time.
That gets into the point I was going to ask you about Burton. When you see Chris Mullen, you know when Burton knows when he comes to a place like this at Cal, big city, there are going to be a lot of NBA people in the building to watch him.
Well, he's a senior now, so people know about him. They know about his scoring, and they want to evaluate him. Is he an NBA player?
And that's what I'm wondering. And that plays an example. How much of that does he try to do as opposed to being a guy that rings up 38?
This is the first time I've seen Burton in person. First blush, he's got to be a point guard at the next level. Not big enough to be a 2, but are his instincts to score too much? Can he run a team and not look to score first? Those are questions that have to be answered, but for this Nevada team, he has to score, so he's kind of stuck. Can't show NBA people that he could be a point guard because he's got to get his 22, 23 for Nevada.
Wow, that's a great little drop step by Richard Solomon.
He is so much better down there this year. The strength and the body helps, but I think just his commitment and his willingness to be down there now has helped him more than anything.
So Cal has its first lead since it was 2-0. As they've scored 7 straight.
Look at him. He spreads out down there one-on-one. Nevada digging down, but they leave. He spins around the defender. Watch it again. Good recognition by him. Guys that are stunting down, leave. You go.
Burton, I'll tell you one thing he's showing is the left side.
Well, he's got the athleticism to play point guard at the next level. It's just whether or not he has the instincts to be a point guard. He's got good burst. We already talked about that. He's got a good handle.
Wallace rising up for the threes. Hit 2 of them in the first half. He's only a 25% shooter coming in. That's a good sign for Cal.
7 of 28 coming in.
Cal hasn't been a good outside shooting team in the non-conference.
Well, and Santa Barbara zoned them a lot on Friday, and I think until they start shooting it better, they're going to see a lot of zones.
See where Cal is just attacking. Even there, Solomon misses a shot, but he goes right at the ball.
Well, they have the advantage size-wise. So get it up on the rim. If you don't make it, go get it.
So Perez picks up his first. Cobbs returns. And Nevada has 7. So Cal into the 1-and-1 with Solomon.
One area for Richard Solomon, if he is going to play more on the block, be more in the paint this year, going to have to shoot his free throws better. Only 53% coming in. You get fouled more when you're down there. If they throw it into him more down there, he's going to get fouled more. Got to step up and knock him down. Makes 1 or 2 there.
So Nevada, after their blistering start, got them out to a healthy lead. An 8-point lead was their biggest. They've cooled.
And I think Cal has gotten into the game defensively as well. I don't think they were to start, but they are now.
Whoa, and there's Burton showing something. Well, they got a switch. Burton saw Richard Solomon on him and said, I'm going home.
Well, the NBA scouts just on their list that says athleticism, just check the box.
Wow.
That was impressive for a guy that size.
Bird with a miss. Evans pulls it.
Like the shot for Bird, though. Catch and shoot. You had room, just didn't go down.
Now Cobbs on Burton, a little clear out. Stiver's trying, or Bell rather, trying to set him a screen. Richard Bell in for the first time for
points. Get the crowd going. Smart play by Justin Cobbs.
Good pop out, open look, and Evans knocks it.
I'm impressed with Nevada here early offensively. You know, Burton's been pretty good with 9 points, but the rest of the Nevada team has been pretty efficient.
Cobbs missing his 3. Perez back with the ball for Nevada. So the guard matchup, Don highlighted again here. Cobbs on Burton.
Look how they walk Burton off the ball. And I think they're trying to create a side. You know, play one side of the floor. Everybody paying attention to Burton. He's not even in the play.
There's Kravitz. There's the shot.
Something Pac-12 teams are going to have to know. If you're going to play some zone, you better expect Kravitz to be at that foul line making that jumper.
So Cal was down 8, now up 5. But Perez draws a foul. He'll get to the line out of a timeout.
Good with the dribble and fearless going to the rim.
Amongst the best in Nevada basketball history. He won't catch the all-time points leader, Nick Fazekas, a huge career at Nevada. But Burton last year had a guard alongside Malik Story, 6'5", big size and a big score.
And in a shooter, they gave him more room. Story could space out for threes, drag defenders to him so that Burton could operate with the dribble more.
Not quite the same passed around at Burton this year. He's absolutely the focal point. Cobbs on the baseline is fouled.
It's interesting, Cobbs taking second time tonight. He's taking him down on the block. Good ball fake. Gets Burton's first foul.
And how much does a Deontay Burton just try to project into his shoes, try to show people tonight he can defend?
Well, being from Nevada, not a, a super huge program, under the radar a little bit, you got to prove that you are a complete player. They know you can score. Scouts come to see if you can guard a good veteran senior point guard like Cobbs. Can you make the right plays? Do you make good decisions with the ball? Or are you just out here to get your 30 no matter how many shots it takes?
Perez rises up and drills it.
They're not going away. 3-point lead for Cal. But every time it looks like Cal's going to stretch this thing out, Nevada makes a play to keep it tight.
Nevada's made 4 of 5 threes in this first half. Now the ball swings to an open freshman. Cameron Rooks hits the shot.
Well, they posted up Cobbs again, and a second defender came, left Rooks open for the jumper.
Nice dump down.
Good action there. Horns action. Come around the dribble handoff and the dump down. Good offense for Nevada.
And a basket by Lucas Stivrins.
Stivrins not even averaging a point coming in.
Go all the way. Now both coaches are going to have some conversation at halftime, I would think, about defense. Both teams have shot well, but especially Mike Montgomery coming off. Cal gave up 45 in the second half at Santa Barbara from it.
And give the offenses some credit.
Yes.
They've been executing, but that's the whole thing with defense. It shouldn't be that easy to execute if you're on it.
Set up again. Boy, Perez did that well. Evans couldn't knock it down. Cobbs pinned that ball and almost committed a violation.
Tough shot.
Crazy rebound. Nice save by Kravish.
New clock. Nevada back to man. I think without Solomon in there, they feel like don't need the zone.
And Wallace hits it. Well, that's been maybe the nicest offensive part of the first half for Cal. Wallace has hit 3 threes.
In the offseason, lost 25 pounds. And you can tell his numbers have gone up. I think he's got more stamina. He's still playing some power forward, but because he's lighter and better off the dribble, really schooling some of the bigger power forwards now.
You pointed out DeLon Wright.
Yeah, when's the last time a guard, as Nevada turns it over on the 5 count, DeLon Wright shooting over 74% from the field, the guard. 8 games in. We'll see. Don't know what he was tonight, but that's impressive for 8 games.
And as Cal comes up on the turnover, by the way, that's 8 turnovers now on Nevada and just 1 turnover in this first half by Cal.
Nevada's got to be careful here that Cal doesn't push this thing out.
Right, there's the jinx.
8-point lead. You don't want Cal pushing this to 14 or 16 in the last 2:24.
8 points has been the biggest lead each team has had it. Now we get a contact again in the backcourt. Cobbs is called. That will be the 6th team foul on Cal.
Cobbs first.
Cal pushing, but Nevada back. Burton has not been off the floor in the first half. Matthews hits a 3.
No indecision there from Matthews. Quick catch and shoot. Knocks it down. Nevada's got to answer here.
Yep, biggest lead now.
Nice job by Kravish. You see that hedge? He blocked it but didn't use his hands, so no foul.
Coleman scores to break an 8-point Cal run.
Well, good recognition by Coleman, but 3 guys were paying attention to Burton on that play, on that screen. 3 guys in the vicinity of Burton. That opens up all the other Nevada players.
How much is Nevada using Burton as a decoy? What do you say?
I think some. You know, I think he's still looking for his own, especially when he's on the ball. But I've noticed 2 or 3 plays where he's just standing way out behind the three-point line.
High entry to Solomon low, and Solomon to the line.
Take a look at Burton using that screen. Look, 3 guys right there. All watching him. Other people are open. And Solomon maybe need a little better contest. We're deep enough in this first half that even if he picked up his second foul, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Right.
We're under a minute to go. But he's got to protect the paint a little bit better than that.
Cal continuing to rack up an advantage at the foul line. That's 12 made free throws by California in the first half and only 2 by Nevada.
I've really been impressed, and you and I have talked about it, how much the players have adjusted so quickly to the rules changes. We haven't been in any games yet where there's been, you know, 55, 60 fouls called. It's credit to the coaches and the players.
Burton showing a little bit more of a deeper 3 range, and Nevada gets a second chance.
Nevada 2 for 1.
Yeah. They were trying it there with Evans. Now David Carter is going to call not a play, rather a timeout. So he will use his first half timeout.
We got a 14-second differential.
All right, coming up, we're talking about Don and Coach Kent. The basketball playbook coming up right afterwards here on the Pac-12 networks.
The only disappointing thing about the show tonight is that me and Ernie agree way too much. As the season goes along, we will start disagreeing a lot.
What the hell was wrong with you today?
I know it. Couldn't believe it. Really disappointed in myself.
It is fair charge, and a good thing, and Don and I were talking about this before the game, for someone like me, anybody that likes basketball, you watch playbook because you don't get to see all the teams in non-conference. That gives you a little capsule of what's happening, and you look at this, and I keep saying, we saw how well Larry Kristolvig had Utah playing at the end of last season, and it looks like that's carried over.
Well, I was asked a question today, am I buying Utah? And my answer, based on their schedule so far, is I'm buying Utah with a 30-day money-back guarantee.
That's a hedge. And how about Arizona State? They went into Chicago, beat DePaul.
I think they're for real. I really do. I would be surprised if Arizona State isn't an NCAA tournament team this year.
Burton taking it home. And now Cal. Burton strips the rebound. Evans puts it home. So Cal will get the last shot, but after Nevada does score.
Needed that momentum changer to end the half. If Nevada can get a stop, they'll be fine heading into halftime.
Burton, a good baseline float, and that will go out to Nevada with 1.7. 10 fan. During Mike's years at Stanford, you got used to seeing plays on cards being held up, signs to the players. When you played against Mike's teams, you had that happen. And it all comes, he's a Judd Heathcote disciple. That's where a lot of that came from the Montana days.
I still wake up every once in a while with nightmares of Andrew Vlahoff.
One of the first Aussies to come over and play. Now, Stevens missed most of the first half for Nevada with 2 quick fouls to go right to him.
And that's how they started the game. They went right to him. But unfortunately for Nevada, he picked up those fouls.
Cal starts the same 5 that started the game. In the second half, and Solomon hits inside.
Well, Nevada's got no answer for that. And every time they've gone to Solomon, they've got something out of it. So let's see if they continue to go down there more regularly.
And a smart play to find out if Stevens is going to be interested in playing defense. Evans makes it.
He's a good-looking player, Evans. Long. They list him as a guard, but doesn't really look like a guard, but has guard skills.
Evans with 12 points. Evans had 25 Saturday night. Nevada won an overtime game at UC Davis. Matthews with a pull-up.
The offense continues both ways in this game.
Nevada played 4 of their 5 starters, virtually went wall-to-wall first half. The only starter that didn't was Stevens. There's Cal freshman quarterback Jared Goff. It's his dad sitting, who's a Major League Baseball player. Sitting on the left edge of the screen there. Jared just had surgery to repair the shoulder after having a ton of yards passing in his first year for Cal.
He threw it so much he needed surgery.
Threw it out of necessity. And yeah, that was the result. But a bright future ahead for Jared Goff. 3 more years here at California. And a nice story again because his dad played here. He's an outstanding baseball player at Cal.
Good contest by Stevens that time.
Stevens is going at Solomon, but Kravish came in, or excuse me, Kreklow came in and picked it.
Yeah, good anticipation. That's what Kreklow's known for. Give him energy, defense, toughness.
That's a nice delivery by Matthews, and that's another staple of Mike Montgomery's offenses forever, is that entry down the lane to the block.
And they're really trying to establish the inside game here early in the second half.
Huff shoots it over Kravish, and Cole Huff with his 3rd basket for Nevada.
Again, though, if their defensive efficiency could match their offensive efficiency, they'd be pulling away right now. But Nevada continues to get hoops and keep this thing close enough.
From the Nevada standpoint, at some point they can't get involved in basket trading. That's what the first 3 minutes has been.
No, they're either way. Whichever team's going to string together some stops, either Nevada gets back into it and really makes it a game, as you see Kravish, left shoulder jump hook. So efficient down there. But Cal, if they could get 2, 3, 4 stops in a row, might be able to blow this thing open.
And a nice job by Cobbs to get the open look to Kravish. And the other thing,
they carried all their bags.
Yeah, that's Lute Olson. There were 7 different times in Lute Olson's coaching tenure at Arizona that the Wildcats were #1. And after all the disarray of that transition, it's wonderful for everybody to see the stability back in Arizona basketball.
Such great support there in Tucson, the fans, and it's back. Kale's rocking again.
Nice pass from Cobbs to Kravish again.
Kravish has come so far offensively. Didn't rush that, took his time, gathered, but was quick with it. Got it up on the window quick.
Well, Cal is 5 for 5 to start the second half. Nevada's 3 out of 4. And Burton adds to it with a tough shot.
Degree of difficulty. And I have a feeling if Nevada's going to come back and win this, Burton's going to have to go off here the last 15-30 of this half.
And Kravish is showing. I mean, the 2 games we've seen here, Don, those shots, that's just net.
Here's what happens when you work so hard to improve and you know you've improved, your confidence continues to grow. And that's the biggest thing for me now. Kravish, plays are being made confidently, not hoping they go in, not hoping something good happens, playing with authority and confidence.
Perez did a good job of getting to the basket, just missed it with the left hand. And the loose ball will come back into Nevada.
And it's gotten to the point now where, when I said it earlier, when he rises up from the middle of the floor there, you just assume it's going to.
So Nevada has not been able to narrow the lead. They've hung in there, but it has been a lot of basket trading in the first 5 minutes of the half. Stivrins off the bench.
Good help by Kravish that time. We're talking a lot about Kravish's offense. He set the single-season blocks record here at Cal last year. So defense as well.
Burton, nice first step. Right by Cobbs.
I thought he was going to turn that one over like he did in the first half. Went to the left and laid it in.
So Burton with 13, and right now David Carter, the Nevada coach, is continuing. He's playing 4 Ironmen, 4 men wall to wall. The 5th guy is the one that has changed.
I think you go with it until they can't go anymore. I mean, there are no moral victories. As Burton gets fouled on the jumper by Cobbs. We watched the burst from the point of attack to the rim. I mean, just a blow-by on Cobbs. And the finish.
And then coming back, and I would wonder, Don, if something may have been said during that last timeout akin to your view, that maybe Burton was told, hey, take it a little bit, be aggressive.
I'm pretty sure it was discussed, because he's the last couple plays after starting the half not really looking to be aggressive. He's really now looking to score for himself. But just to finish that point earlier about there are no moral victories. It doesn't do you any good to say you only lost to Cal by 6 or 8. Played the guys. Try and come in here and win this. Hopefully your basketball team's conditioned enough that guys can play heavy minutes.
Nevada has won 3 games already this year on other teams' floors. Nobody at the level of Pac-12 yet. Won games at USF, at Cal Poly, and UC Davis.
Well, you and I were talking that this Nevada team, and I know we didn't see the best of Irvine last week, but this Nevada team looks a lot better against Cal than Irvine did.
With a kick out, and Coleman got caught in the middle. Burton showing his frustration. Burton wanted Coleman to rise and shoot that.
Nice job by Solomon to slide over and cut off the penetration of Burton. And he's got to let that one fly on the kick out. No hesitation.
Wallace in the game for Cal. Jabari Bird with the ball. And Solomon takes it right at Stevens. Another good drop move off the block.
He went right through Stevens on that one. Direct entry from the top. Bird enters. And he sees it quickly that no one's coming and goes right to work. Goes right through the arms of Stevens for the basket and the foul.
Perez wins the race for the loose ball.
Well, we talked about his free throw shooting, and 3 of 4 in the first half. Doesn't knock that one down, though.
Cal's only missed 3 foul shots tonight, 2 of them by Solomon. There's Evans, a left-hander going the strong side.
Well, the longer you let Nevada continue to score and hang around, the more they're going to believe that they can steal this one. Still haven't seen Cal yet put together a good defensive stretch.
They're going to get Wallace over the back on a rebound. One of those that looks like a foul. 3rd on Cal's Wallace.
Not sure that even looked like a foul. A little bit. A bit up top. I say play on. we have enough new rules to deal with in terms of contact. Let them play a little bit in the paint.
All right, I would assume that, and I'm going to make an assumption here, knowing Mike Montgomery for a lot of years, that the subject matter of this is defense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I think he's sensing what we just talked about, is that they're letting them hang around for too long. I mean, this is a pretty good Nevada team, but not so good that Cal can't string together some stops, and they just haven't all night, and it's allowed Nevada to keep this thing under 10 for most of the night. Especially, Ted, with an explosive scorer like Burton. You never know what that guy can do. He's the type of player that can come down and get 10 in a row on you, and all of a sudden, we're really close.
Now, understand that Nevada have a different conditioning test for them because they play half their games in Reno. They practice in Reno. But still, Burton looks like a guy who's going to play all 40 tonight. But if you're asking a guy to score a lot at the end of the game.
If I'm coaching Burton, I'm playing him 40 minutes too.
And Burton draws the foul on Cobbs. Well, that's the third now on Justin Cobbs.
He is tough to stay in front of. And definite foul by Cobbs.
See, Mike Montgomery's going to react to that. He's going to pull Cobbs out for a bit here to not risk Burton going at him again.
Well, that's the problem. Is if he wasn't guarding a guy like Burton, you might consider leaving him out there. But you don't want him on Burton with 3 fouls with 12:20 to go.
So now Tyrone Wallace gets the defensive assignment. Jordan Matthews into the game. Wallace also has 3 fouls. They switch Matthews on Burton. Marquise Coleman going in. And a foul as Coleman went up for the shot. And here's a chance now for Nevada. We're not even to the 12-minute timeout yet to get the game down to 6.
And Cal's screen roll defense hasn't been very good tonight. And I don't know if it's miscommunication or what, but there's been too many turn the corner straight line drives to the rim for Nevada. And so, not sure what the scheme is for Cal tonight, but the players aren't executing what they're supposed to be doing on that screen roll.
Nevada has been to the foul line so infrequently, they need to take advantage of that. Unlike the first free throw, Solomon gets a breather with his second foul. Wow, Coleman gets a sweet carom off the glass to salvage one.
Rarely do you see the ball touch the top of the backboard and still go in.
Cameron Rooks in.
And him being so hard to keep in front, you expect Burton to keep challenging the Cal perimeters to try and guard him without fouling him and putting him on the line.
Burton with a miss. He's a 75% foul shooter this year. Coming out of the timeout.
Sorry, Ted, you might see some Cal in some zone just to try and keep Keontae Burton on the perimeter and off the foul line.
So Cal brought Solomon back into the game during the timeout. Here. Solomon working against a freshman now, Lucas Stivrins. Stivrins hung in there on him.
Solomon not really on balance that time.
Evans miss and cleared by Jordan Matthews.
Wallace and Kreckler both passed up open shots. Nobody stopped the ball when Wallace brought it up. He kicks out to Kreckler. He was open.
You talk about that. Wallace got to about 12 feet there before he saw anybody on Nevada.
Pull up at the foul line, knock that down.
Now that's a nice move with Solomon. Part of that conversion, Don, that you touched on earlier tonight, where Solomon has become an interior player. How many of these nice little steps has he made off the low block?
And this time had a better base than the previous possession. Good sharp turn, gets past the defender and lays it in. But it starts on that box by being on balance with a good base. Recognize what the defense is doing and go.
This time he does complete a 3-point play. So 14 tonight for Solomon.
Well, good 3-point play there for Cal to stop the bleeding a little bit.
And Perez gets 2 right back.
Backdoor, Perez, too easy.
That's his second backdoor basket.
Yeah.
Catch and shoot. Jabari Bird for 3.
He has such a good-looking stroke, and he was right in front of us that time. Got a good elbow. Sets that wrist early. Good-looking shooter. Job by Wallace.
But the end result will be the 4th foul on Cal's Tyrone Wallace.
Take a look at this Jabari Bird stroke. Good ball position, release point. I thought that was pretty good possession by Wallace. I didn't see the hand on his hip, if there was one, but he beat him to the spot.
So Burton back to the line. And now California has a little bit of an issue with just under 10 to play defending Burton. Wallace is going to sit with 4. Cobbs is back in with 3. Jordan Matthews, a potential guy, has 2. Burton has 18.
Here we go, Nevada, 3-quarter court. Should drop back into a zone.
Go back into Nevada. So if you're on the Cal side, you can't feel real good because you've turned the corner here.
Yeah.
Under 10 to go, and you haven't put this team away.
And that wasn't a great shot. That was a one-pass, deep 3 from Matthews. Getting late enough in the game here that you really got to value possessions.
And then the long rebound comes to Burton, and he got smacked, and that's the 3rd foul on Matthews. Well, the Cal is getting some individuals piling up fouls. You're putting a good foul shooter at the line.
Well, that wasn't even Burton on the dribble. That was a second chance opportunity, long rebound. Matthews just a little late getting there, fouled Burton. I'll tell you what Burton is good at, too. You can tell he's a senior. He's really good at selling fouls.
That comes from experience.
Yeah,
I could tell.
Little extra, contortion after the contact. This is the front end, though.
That hurts for Nevada trying to mount a comeback. Burton leaves 2 points at the foul line.
Opposite.
Krecklow. That would have really hurt Nevada if Krecklow's shot had gone down.
Good look at it.
So Burton answers the only way he can. He missed the 2, but he answers with 3.
That's what good offensive players do. I've been driving it. You've been fouling me, so you back off so you don't have to put your hands on me. Give me room. I pull up and knock down the 3.
So this is the closest the game has been in the second half. There's Solomon. Again, that high-low entry. Kravish, foul line.
Well, the respect that Burton gets now. He's been driving all night and beating people. Cobb's just setting up, stopping the dribble, but gives him too much room. And if you can drive it and you have the explosiveness of a guy like Burton and you can shoot it, you are really tough to guard.
Wow, scramble for the ball. It ends up with Bird. And he scores it.
Love the adjustment midair by Bird. Looked like it was going to get blocked. Hung in the air a little bit longer, adjusted the ball, and scored it. Tough play.
Body's hitting the floor there, and the officials let him play. Cal ends up with the 2, and now coming back. And we're going to get a rebound foul on Huff of Nevada. Cole Huff.
On the ground, and Kreklo may have gotten away with a foul there, but I think Cal's got to settle the game here a little bit. They're getting some stops, but they're in a hurry on the other end. You got the lead. You know, we're getting later in the game here. No rush.
Put in. Well, that's a nice spot. Here we are, 32 minutes and change of this game. 3 turnovers.
Then I go back to the same thing. Got a senior point guard running the show. Certainly helps.
And Perez gave Bird a chance to recover and block.
Well, the athleticism of Bird's going to make him a good defender. He's got to learn technique and totally buy in at the defensive end.
Now it's a late block for Nevada. And a second block by Cal. No shot, no possession. That's a shot clock violation. Shot clock never reset. There was no possession at the end.
Cal never had possession. And 2 blocks on this one possession. First one by Bird, and then Kravish with the rejection. And they never had it, so they never reset. Cal ball.
3rd block tonight by Kravish. He goes 14 points and 5 rebounds. Hobbs goes left and then scores on Bird.
He's really good at that. Drive him and don't go all the way to the rim. Pull up at 12 feet for that little jumper.
Those are the first Hobbs points of the second half. 8 for the game, and Cal's run has reestablished a double-digit lead.
Critical time and possession here for Nevada. There you go.
Perez hit a couple of those tonight. Well, those hopefully really need a basket shots.
Hopefully, for Burton's sake, Perez can really be that reliable perimeter shooter to take some of the pressure off teams game planning for him.
Six minutes to go. Nevada, oh, nice pass. Huff just couldn't handle it.
Don't think that pass came up high enough.
No, we got off the ball call here against California.
Solomon and Stevens really going at it.
So Chris Rastatter made the call, and it's against Solomon.
Solomon was trying to establish position early and got that arm up. Obvious foul.
Well, that's the 3rd on Solomon, and now any subsequent Cal foul is going to be a 2-shot for Nevada. Nevada only 4 team fouls.
We're not at that point in the game yet where we're rolling the ball up the floor, are we?
Look at Perez, though. Good job. Knew his shot was off, went and chased it down.
The guy who shot it always knows where it's going before everyone else.
And Bird takes it in and one.
Slashing through the paint. Gets the foul. It's the second time tonight where he's kind of hung in the air a little bit and knocked it down. He's going to be a really good player. pretty good right now.
I was going to say, what's the big, you talked about defensive technique, footwork, etc. What would be the most prominent single area you want to see him improve on this year, first year?
Well, I think understanding who he's going to be as an offensive player as well. Getting to space, he's a good-looking shooter, he's a good shooter. Don't always go into the defense. You know, and that's bred by playing AAU basketball. Everything's at the rim, everything's a dunk or a three. Understanding how to not only play individual offense, but play offense within the system.
Marquise Coleman takes it in to score.
And Wallace, with those 4 fouls, just has to let Coleman go.
Cobb's getting a breather here for Cal, likely into the 4-minute timeout. I'd like to take advantage here, see if they can put a spurt on him these last 40 or so seconds. Burton takes it in for 2.
Got some work to do before conference play starts in about 3 weeks on the defensive end.
So Wallace stays in the game, but Cobbs did come back. So Mike Montgomery used the timeout to get his senior guard back in.
Well, Cal's got to keep playing. There's still plenty of time in a 7-point game.
Well, Cobbs delivers right away.
Good setup by Wallace. Driving kick. Cobbs ready to catch and go.
And now Cobbs, as you would think, Cobbs takes Burton.
Cobbs has 3, so probably still try and go at him.
Burton stayed out of the way, let Coleman go. Cobbs returns the favor, sets up Wallace. A new 35 for Cal.
See if Cobbs, walk it up, settle the game here. 9-point lead, 3:35 to go. Use some clock, get a good look.
Well, that was the look.
Or if they leave you wide open, just knock it down.
So Cobbs has scored 5 out of the timeout, and Cal's back to 12.
It's exactly what I'm talking about, though, Ted, with the senior leadership down the stretch, finishing games.
Burton sets up Stivrins. He can't put it home.
Mike Montgomery that time jumps off the bench, tells him to settle the game down.
Now Cal plays the clock as much as they play Nevada.
I think now you can start running that clock down.
And on the move, Evans of Nevada called for 5 quick points.
And look at that. Cobbs and Bird, last 17 Cal points.
And that Cal could really milk this clock. They got the new possession just before the timeout.
I think they're going to do just that. The trick is, though, you got to get a good look at the end. A lot of teams run that clock down and then scramble and don't get a good shot. Just because you're using clock doesn't mean you don't execute at the end of the shot clock.
Well, there's perfect. Cobbs took it right to the middle and fed Wallace.
That may do it there.
Cal running a second man at Burton, forcing him to give it off, and then a bad foul. Wallace ends his night with a foul he'll regret.
Time and score, basketball IQ. You're up 15. There's 2 minutes to go. You have 4 fouls. You don't need that hard of a contest that you would even remotely get close enough to foul him. Now you put him on the line for 3.
Wallace makes a 3 and then fouls on a 3 to end his night. 14 points. Bird returns.
The closeout of shooters is different with 2 minutes to go in a 15-point game than it is 15 minutes to go in the first half. Have to be smarter than that.
You talked about selling a foul, Don. and that's another thing that I would think college coaches have to be very aware of teaching their defenders is on that closeout. Every three-point shooter now flops.
Well, they could either kick their foot out and get the contact that way, or if they get hit at all, they kind of fall backward. But again, he shouldn't have even been close enough to where the referee could even remotely think of calling a foul.
Cole Huff makes all three for Nevada. The playbook comes up after our game here in Berkeley tonight. Cal has finally reached the point where they appear to have weathered a persistent challenge tonight from Nevada.
You don't want to foul now if you're Nevada.
Awfully nice setups. And eventually Kravish finishes.
He does so well. And it is so nice to see a kid get rewarded for really working hard at his game. Same thing here, though, Ted. I mean, what is Justin Kopp? Why is he so close to Burton at this point? You're up 14, a minute 30. Make him a jump shooter. Why are you challenging him on the dribble? Take a look at the pass to Solomon and Kravish there to clean it up.
16 points, 8 rebounds for Kravish.
Becoming par for the course for him. Solomon's leading him in rebounding this year. But Kravish right behind him. 8.5 a game.
Jordan Matthews got his start tonight. He scored 12. Burton makes 1 for his 24th point, and David Carter takes timeout off the Nevada bench. 90 seconds remaining. So one of the things, Don, we're going to set you up a little bit because you and Nerdy Ken join Mike Gann for the playbook, which follows us immediately, kind of taking a look at the broader scope of the conference. What's the surprise? Did you guys talk about that today? Is there something early that non-conference had a surprise to?
I think Utah, and not, we know that their schedule hasn't been tough, but the way they dispatch people, especially at home, the scoring margin, I think their scoring margin on the season is like 27 a game. DeLon Wright has surprised me.
Yes.
I think Utah, I think we're going to see who they are here coming up. They have BYU this weekend.
It's a fairness, Utah has not really been challenged in their non-conference.
But just, again, looking at their scores and looking at the personnel, I think that they're going to be better than a lot of people thought. Not saying they're going to win the conference or they're, NCAA tournament bound, but I think they're a lot better than people thought they were going to be coming in.
Nevada putting some pressure on, creates a turn, and Evans will finish.
Just gave Nevada some hope by turning it over. But at least she didn't foul and stop the clock.
Cal breaks it. Solomon. Ooh, Solomon put it down and lost it. And Cal has had 2.
This has got to be so frustrating for Mike Montgomery. You know it's coming. You know they're trying to turn you over. Just be strong with it and pass it around and run the game out.
Well, Burton goes in for a second giant slam of the night, and Nevada will take another timeout.
It was really impressive the first time, and I feel like I should be impressed the second time, but we've already seen it. Kopp just lets him go, and he elevates again for that right hand power dunk.
Well, Deonte Burton, career high is 31 in a game. He's got 26 tonight. He's averaging 22-9 coming in.
And Nevada played pretty well tonight. I just think the size in the second half kind of overwhelmed them a little bit. Kravish and Solomon. And I like the response of Tyrone Wallace and Jabari Bird. You know, got taken out of the starting lineup, could have came out and sulked, or not played as hard because they were mad they weren't starting, but they came out, played, and played well.
14 for Bird, and he hit that quick stretch here in the latter part of the second half when Nevada was making probably their best run. Bird is the one who scored 8 quick points. And then Cobbs in the 4.5-minute range came off the bench and made 5 quick ones.
If you're Nevada, why would you let 10 or 12 seconds run off the clock and then foul? You're down 9 with 37 seconds to go. Either foul quick or let this thing run out.
Cobbs is an excellent foul shooter, 82%. Double-figure scores for Cal tonight. No one with more than 16. That's Kravish. Meanwhile, Perez hits another 3. Perez has had 5 threes tonight. 18 points total, and Nevada fouls.
Too little, too late for Nevada, and that time they did foul quick.
So 1-and-1 here for Bird. Nevada still has one more 1-and-1 foul to give.
I wouldn't, unless they make a 3 on this next possession, I would imagine they would let Cal just run it out. No shot clocks turned off. 10-point game.
Cal's making some foul shots here down the stretch. To their credit,